Hi, guys. Exciting news for season 4. The Thrive Tribe newsletter is for everyone and it's free.
To sign up for our newsletter and to get more out of Chasing Brighter and engage with our amazing community, go to chasingbrighter.com/newsletter to get the latest updates.
And every month we have freebies, so check it out.
Welcome to the Chasing Brighter podcast, the podcast created as a guide to make midlife the best life.
Are you ready to embrace the next chapter of your life with confidence and excitement? Your best life is just a listen away.
Welcome to Chasing Brighter, where we explore what it means to live your best life. This month, we're diving into gratitude and grace, honoring the journey, not just the highlight reel.
Today, we are talking about finding gratitude in the mess. Because let's be honest, life doesn't always feel picture perfect. But even in the chaos, there's room for perspective and peace.
You know, it reminds me, there was a time in 2010 when Dominic was born, and I hosted Thanksgiving with a 3-week-old and then hosted our big family Christmas. I was trying to make everything perfect and ignore my own needs. And, you know, my trauma response is pleasing, right? Or fawning. And I was just like focused on making everybody else happy and also not even realizing, you know, when you have a baby, when you biologically have a child, you're physically healing, right? And it was just like, just looking back, it's like that was just so crazy that I would host Thanksgiving and host everything. And like, I definitely was a person that was like, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it to like ease everyone else's worries. And I wasn't focused at that time on what was meaningful. I definitely wasn't in the present. I was so overwhelmed. And it was really a struggle to focus on what was going right. Like I didn't have the ability to like take a moment and look at kind of what was the good that was happening and the positive stuff that was happening. And it reminds me, Kelly, you had said something earlier that really sticks with me about how gratitude shifts our focus from what's missing to kind of what's meaningful. And that is such a powerful reminder because our brains are wired to scan for danger. And that is called the negativity bias. It's why when 10 things go right in a day, but one thing goes wrong, that's what we hyper focus on.
Yeah. You know, I think that experience that you had, though, like this is part of our own journey and what we've done in terms of evolving ourselves, because I was there and I don't remember much of that craziness.
You
in
would
the
have
way
had
that
a
like
4-month-old.
We were all
or
just kind of
5-month-old.
surviving. Yeah. We were just kind of surviving. And there's that too. I was thinking about that even with young kids around here, like watching young kids. I've been more nostalgic lately as my kids get older, where it's like, are they like sitting in these moments being like, oh, this is so great? And then even now, right, when you're like running across town, like how do we become this sort of taking these moments, right? So, you know, gratitude is really like a reset button, you know, that it's like one of those things where you talked about that bias. So we start looking for what's working, what's good, what's beautiful. And when you do that, it really changes the chemistry of your brain. And this is one of those things where it's a practice too, right? That's where a lot of people talk about a gratitude practice. When you're in that mindset, it has a lot of body changes, biological changes. It increases dopamine and serotonin, which is a mood boost. And it helps us feel more content. It's not about pretending that hard stuff isn't hard and doesn't exist, but it's about balancing the picture. And in some ways, I think kind of like that narrative. Gratitude doesn't erase pain, but it widens our perspective.
And I think like looking back at that example, when we have a negativity bias, like we're talking about, is like that keeps us up at night. If you are someone that still has little kids, right, and your brain is swirling at the end of the day, it's like, how do we pull back and reflect on our values of like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, what's important? So during that Thanksgiving, I'm sure I wanted everything to be a certain way and have everything a certain way. That's not really matters. And when
Yep.
we can balance out that picture and look at like you're saying, what's going right, what's working, and it's such an important distinction because sometimes we confuse gratitude with what's often called toxic positivity, the idea that we should be happy or look on the bright side no matter what. And so that's what you're saying. It's gratitude doesn't erase pain, right? It's not about pretending that it's not hard. It's not about
It's not like
pretending
being like, everything's
everything's
fine, everything's fine.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, but genuine gratitude doesn't deny reality. It includes the hard stuff and says, even here, I can still find something that grounds me, right? So even though looking back at that difficult time, even though I was overwhelmed, it's like I had a healthy baby, right? I had a healthy baby. That pregnancy was a high risk pregnancy. It was very scary. There was some stuff during that pregnancy that was scary. And so it was like I could have just focused on, you know what? We're going to have a million Thanksgiving. Let me just like hold the baby. The food will be fine, whatever it is. I'm just going to like shift my focus to the things that are going right.
To your point, that toxic positivity, it really skips over that pain. And the idea that you're just putting on this happy face, whereas genuine gratitude is saying, like, this is tough, but I can still be grateful for the strength it's building in me. Or maybe it's like, I wish things were different, but I'm thankful for the lesson or the people walking beside me through it. I mean, I think
Yeah.
it's about kind of flipping the script, which is a word that I would use in my own kind of like vernacular on this. And that's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard to do that, especially when you're in the thick of it, to take those moments. And maybe even
Yeah.
for me, I think about is like the hardest, when it talks about the pain, like the hardest emotional, the weightier emotional parts of even your day might be the moments that it's like light bulb or like red
Yeah.
flag. Like I need to take a minute here and like change and reframe what's happening.
Well, and I love that idea of toxic positivity. And it's not that I think I was in a haze for a long time. So I don't think I was like pretending to be happy or making things Instagram perfect, but I was trying to create this perfect childhood for my children. And I was really ignoring my own needs. And so we joke, even around that time, Dominic's like, remember that birthday I had? I made him like a 6-layer cake. I did all of this crazy stuff. And so we have a joke in our house back when I was a good mom. I go, oh, that's back when I was a good mom, right? And so then when Giovanni came 4 years later, it was like, I'm not doing any of this shit, right? Like Giovanni is just like, I mean, our birthdays for him are planned in 24-hour window. Like, let's birthday. He's got a birthday tomorrow. What do we do? But it's healthier and better, right? For all of us that we're just like more living in the moment versus me trying to create this
Mm-hmm.
psycho illusion of everything. And so I love what you're saying because gratitude is about seeing like the whole picture, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now when I'm stressed or overwhelmed, I try to pause and ask myself, what else is true right now? Maybe I'm tired, but I'm also loved. Maybe things are chaotic, but my kids are laughing in the next room. That simple reframe brings me back to center. I think what helps bring me to the present too is as we've shared the loss of our cousin Sophia and earlier in the summer, our Aunt Sharon. And I think that anytime I experience a death or a loss, it's just like, hold on now, right? Like, so I try to be like, I may be stressed or overwhelmed, but I'm alive. I'm healthy. My kids have a mom. So really, I've been focusing a lot on my gratitude about just being, I'm so grateful for my health. I'm so grateful that I'm here, that I have the opportunity to be a mom, that I have opportunity to be a wife, that or my job, whatever it is. It's just like to be grateful just to be here.
That is so beautiful, Jess. And it's a perfect lead in to, the thinking of small practical ways that we can start to weave in gratitude in our daily life, especially when we're not feeling particularly thankful. And so, a few things that I love is, like I talked about before, like really reframing that daily annoyance. Stuck in traffic and you're spiraling into frustration because things aren't going fast enough and you're running late or you're just feel like you're wasting time in the car, which happens a lot in Chicago right now. You can even say to yourself, like, this is annoying, but it's also a reminder that I have somewhere to go and people who need me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it maybe is like, I like that in my mind when I hear that, I think about like, because there are people who don't have anywhere to go. There are people who don't have people who need them. And like
Yeah.
me being grateful for what I have or keeping a silver linings list. I
Mhm.
love this. Every night you're writing down that one good thing that maybe happened because, something maybe didn't go as planned. That happens to me a lot. I really struggle when things don't go as planned if I have an
Yeah.
expectation in my
Yeah.
routine.
Yeah.
But, missing a meeting or missing, I missed seeing Beckett off to school this morning. Thinking about the silver linings of that where it's like, I have a son who loves me, and if I miss him one day, or I pick him up from school later that day, or just things where I have to keep in mind that, it helps keeping things in perspective.
And hearing you talk about that when things go unplanned, like I know the older I get, I am not flexible, right? But when I think about that negativity bias, I look back. I mean, I always feel like I was a positive person. Like my best friend Julie always called me Susie Sunshine. She wanted to like slap me in the face. But I think internally, maybe being hard on myself. So like one thing goes wrong and my internal dialogue is like, now my whole day's ruined. I don't know, whatever it is. So
Yeah.
this morning, I don't know what I was doing, but I sat my coffee on like the armrest of the car and then forgot and was like
Uh,
driving and I like hit it with my elbow and it flew into the seat. And I grabbed my coffee and it was sealed pretty good and it didn't get on anything. It was just on the seat. And I was because we were like running late because it was one of those days where I was like, I don't know about you or our listeners, but I have my days now are when I leave, I am not home for a very long time, right? So I am leaving and this is where my gratitude is because I feel so lucky that I get to go work out. I'm not complaining, but I work out, so I had to bring all my clothes, my makeup, like everything with me to work to change. So I like drop Giovanni off at school, go work out, go to the office, right? And then I have like, what am I doing at the office? Do I need to bring anything for a client? Did I tell a client I need to book? And I've been really good about bringing lunch. So not did I pack my lunch? Do I have food for myself? So I just like having all of these things running in my head. And so we were running late and I was about to be like in my mind, this day's the worst. My day's terrible. I'm rushing. This is the worst. And I was like, took a deep breath and because Gio's watching and hearing me, he goes like, oh no. And I was like, it's okay. And that thing's whatever. And, I moved my purse and Dominic has been sick. So he like blew his nose with every paper product in my whole car, like all the napkins, everything's gone. And I opened the armrest and for Orange Theory, I've had a towel. And I was like, I didn't use it at class. And I was like, okay, I'm going to keep this towel in my car so I don't forget it. And I opened up my armrest and I was like, I've got a towel. And I like get the
Glorious.
towel, I get the thing and I'm like, okay, thank you. Thank you that I have a towel. I'm so grateful. Everything's okay. Nothing was hurt. We're going to get back on track today. It's going to be okay. There's a meditation I think you listen to where it says everything's going to go the way it's supposed to and you'll have all the time you need. So I kind of just tell myself that everything's going to go the way that's supposed
Oh,
to.
I love
So
that. That's great.
when things don't go as planned, then that is the plan, right? If that's the universe's plan, right? Like that's the way it was supposed to be. If you're late,
Yeah.
you get there. I'll tell myself, I'll get there when I get there. So I'll tell Gabby if she's rushed, she'll get there when you get there, and everything will be okay. And I think also one of the tips I know that you and I've talked about before is like the gratitude stacking. When you think of
Yes.
one thing you're grateful for, immediately think of two more. So like I'm grateful for my morning coffee and then for the quiet moment it gives me and for the warmth in my hand. So just when you're thinking of one, maybe try to list two more and maybe that develops momentum for you. And all the ones you're talking about, the silver lining list, all of that stuff are so doable, and they meet us where we are.
Yep.
Gratitude doesn't have to be this grand practice. You and I talk so much about micro moments because we are busy
Yes.
women.
Yeah.
And so it's often found in micro moments, sunlight through a window, a text from a friend, a good laugh at the end of a long day, just trying to find little micro moments of gratitude.
Exactly. Gratitude is like a muscle. And the more you use it, the stronger it gets. And the more it just becomes part of your daily practice and just who you are. And it stops being something you have to do.
Yeah.
And just becomes a natural lens to look through.
Yeah. This week, maybe listeners, we can all start with one small gratitude habit. Pick something simple and repeatable. Remember, you don't have to feel grateful to start noticing what's good, right? The noticing comes first and the feeling follows. And I think for me, 100%, I know a lot of people in mental health don't like the term fake it till you make it. But that's what I think too. Even with working out, you and I have talked, like, it's not like I wake up every day and I'm like, yay, I get to work out every time I want to cancel a class. I don't want to go ever.
Yes. Yeah.
But
And then you
then the
go and you feel
feeling,
great.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. And, this is for the month of Thanksgiving. The reason why we want to talk about this too is this isn't about waiting until end of November, sitting at the table and everybody talks about what they're grateful for. This is about how do you do that in your everyday?
Yeah.
And so we have some journal prompts also for you in this episode. So think about these, spend a couple minutes in your day, writing these down wherever you choose to do that. The first one is think of a moment recently when things didn't go as planned. What lesson or gift might be hidden within that experience? So that is our journal prompt. Actually, I realize that is kind of all in one, all encompassing. So, you can write it even if you want to make yourself a voice memo or even just kind of say it out loud and really making a mental note of what that is, to really challenge yourself. And this is kind of how we all grow and start to make that change and flip our own script. Remember, gratitude isn't about pretending everything's okay. I have a t-shirt on it. Jesse made me. I still love it. I used to get a lot of compliments on that. It's fine. Everything's okay. But this is about trusting that even messy moments have meaning.
Remember, grace meets you where you are. And as we wrap up today's conversation, we just want to remind you that gratitude isn't about glossing over what's hard. I know we've been telling you that a lot. Gratitude is about learning to hold both truths at once. You can be grateful and tired. You can be appreciative and still wish things were different. Real gratitude doesn't demand that we pretend. It's just asks that we pause long enough to notice what's still good. Like Kelly was saying, having gratitude even in the messy moments.
Gratitude's a form of emotional flexibility. It stretches our perspective. It reminds us that even in the middle of chaos, there are still pockets of beauty, stillness, and meaning, and it doesn't have to be huge. Sometimes it's as small as a warm cup of coffee, which I love so much, a quiet car ride, or someone remembering to check in on you, which we also love. Having us check in on each other and support each other as we all go through this.
And the more we practice this, looking for what's meaningful instead of what's missing, the easier it becomes. It's like building a new pathway in our mind. You start to see that gratitude doesn't erase pain, but it does give it a softer place to land. So if you're going through a tough season, this is your permission to slip. You don't have to force positivity. You can simply say, this is hard, and I'm grateful for what's helping me get through it. That small sentence can shift your entire energy.
So as you're going through your day, and our challenge to you is to reframe a daily annoyance. We gave you the example of traffic, which is highly effective if you live in Chicago or anywhere else that's busy. But when something stressful happens, something that changes the path of your day, maybe it's a spill or a tough conversation, take a break and ask yourself, what else is true right now? You might be frustrated, but maybe you're also learning patience. So pause, protect your energy, and think about different ways to kind of frame the situation.
That's the heart of gratitude. It invites grace into our imperfections. It reminds us that growth often happens in the middle of the mess, not after it's all cleaned up.
We would love for you to go to chasingbrighter.com and sign up for our newsletter. And when you do that, you will get a free downloadable gratitude card document that you can use. It's a tool for you, very simple tool to help you slow down and recognize the little moments that can add up to something beautiful.
Before we go today, let's all take one deep breath. Inhale what's working, what's beautiful, what's present. And exhale what we can't control.
Remember, grace isn't about getting it right. It's about giving yourself permission to start again as many times as you need.
We're so grateful you're here walking this journey with us. Until next time, keep chasing what makes you feel brighter, even in the mess.
Thanks for listening today.
If you loved today's episode, share with a friend. Are you ready to chase brighter days ahead? Subscribe to Chasing Brighter now, and let's embark on this exciting journey together.